Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Ragland, you gave this exercise a B minus. Now, the report in 2008 was roughly 5.7 billion misobligations that were unable to be identified as how they were spent, and now it's 12 billion in 2009. I mean, so it looks like it's jumped twice. So the problem has gotten twice as
big.
Twice as big. And wouldn't that mean that they flunked? I mean, wouldn't you have to be honest to yourself and say, it appears to me that nothing's been done? I mean, if you couldn't get $6 billion, find out where it was spent in 2008, and now it's 12, following this extrapolation, it'd be 24, 25 billion when you come back here again with your GAO report. At what point don't you think that how can you say they're passing?
Well, you're making a very good point, and really the thinking that I had behind my response was that I do think that VA is making efforts in these areas, and so even though the risk
So they get a B minus because they're making efforts when it doubles? But would you have a student that
they do have the policies and procedures in place, and they are taking actions to monitor them, and that's the information that we got from the MQAS service, that they are doing inspections and finding these things, which is what we would look for to any agency, that they are
Well, I understand you're being diplomatic. In reading the summary in your report, you say there are serious long-standing deficiencies we identified that are continuing. So here you 2008, 2009, you say these deficiencies, serious long-standing deficiencies, are continuing. And that's not very optimistic to me. And then you went on to say that there are serious weaknesses continue to raise questions concerning whether VA management has established the appropriate tone at the top necessary to ensure that these matters receive the full sustained attention. So in both the statements I gave you, it appears that the management's not connecting, that you've identified long-standing deficiencies that continue, and these serious weaknesses raise further questions. So I think you've done your job. I think you have to be woman enough to say these folks are flunking, and you've got to be a little bit more draconian in your statement. Now, let me ask you this question. You mentioned in your report they have outdated systems. Does the VA have the technological capability to do this? What do you mean by outdated systems?
Their VA systems sometimes revert to manual processes in order to produce its year-end financial.
So they haven't used computers. They haven't used the internet. They have
no. They do have all that, but some of the reconciliations that they may need to do at year-end, they have a Minex system which is used to produce their year-end statements.
They're done manually then?
It's not manually, but it's not totally manually. But there are reconciliations that take place that in a better world would be more automated. And it affects their inventory systems at pharmacies, and that's what we're talking about.
In 2008, did you bring that to their attention with the same statement that they had outdated systems?
Well, there are two reports. There's one with miscellaneous obligations, and I think that's the one that that Ms. Ragland gave them a B minus on. The other report dealt with financial reporting control deficiencies, and those are the problems that have been around since 2000 or longer. And maybe there would be maybe you would give them a lower grade on that. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, then the statement says a lack of sufficient personnel. Have you found that the personnel is one of the serious problems, that they have personnel that either don't have the appropriate knowledge and skills, or they just don't have the personnel?
That's been one of the independent public auditors' findings in the financial reports, and that's been over years.
Was that true in 2008, that same conclusion?
I'm not positive. I believe so.
Okay. Yes, I'd be glad to yield to the ranking.
based off of the question you just asked, do you believe there would be any value in doing an updated audit of the VA's controls over its contracting?
I believe that it would be valuable to look at VA's contracting procedures. And the organizational structure.
Well, I'll just close, Mr. Chairman. You know, this might be something that we would ask the VA, since they've had a continuing long-term problem here, is to maybe subcontract this out so that we get a little bit more efficiency and this problem doesn't continue. Because, Ms. Ragland, based upon what these reports would indicate, that in another year it could be $25 billion in miscellaneous obligation, and we can't have that. Thank you.